Hey, what's up, guys? Build the universe. And today we're going to do the birth chart of Lipa. I'm just kidding. We're going to do Dua Lipa's birth chart. And I'm happy to do her chart because I enjoy doing charts of people that I don't really know that well. Thus, it guarantees objectivity. So, here we go. Dua Lipa is a Leo sun. She's a Gemini moon. And she's a Libra ascendant. Okay, so let's start with her sun. Her sun is in Libra, specifically the star of Maca. So this star, Maca, is a very, very creative star. And it's a very, very... it's kind of a psychic star, actually. And it's also a very mystical star. So people who are born under this star in Leo, they are usually, if they're women, they're very thin women, very dark hair, like almost black hair. They are very, very, very creative because it is Leo. And they're very nice people. Like, Leo is usually overly sexual, overly prideful, overly this, overly that. And there is confidence, a lot of creative confidence, like confidence in their artistic abilities when your sun is in Maca. But it's so much more chill than the other parts of Leo. And so Maca sits at the front part of the lion. So, this is actually the most mature part of Leo. And so this makes her a very chill person, a very mature person, even though it's in the very charismatic sign of Leo. And what else was I going to say? So also what I noticed is that Maca people are kind of born for greatness. So like Michael Jackson, his sun is also in Maca. It's a very particular section of Leo. And the astrologer Claire Nakhti did a case study, and she looked up 1,000 of the most creative people, like anyone who's ever won a Tony, a Grammy, an Oscar, whatever, anyone who's anyone for the last 1,000 years has been celebrated for their artistic ability. She did their chart, and the number one placement for music was Sun in Maca, which is exactly her placement in Leo. I'd also like to say that I am a music teacher, and I used to be a piano player on Broadway back when I was young and good looking, and and my birthday is actually 5 days ahead of her birthday. So, I'm a Maca sun as well. And I have to say, I can't speak for her, but I will say that music for me was never really tough. It was never hard. Even when it came to serious mathematical theory examination, because I went to school for music, for composition, it was never hard. It was always very, very easy for me. And I do have to admit that my musical kind of ability was it was noted throughout the school. Anyway, so music seems to come really, really, really easy for these for these people. Now let me look at the pada, and I'll bet you anything it's in the first pada, but let me make sure. Okay, so it's actually in the second pada. Okay. Well, this could be one of the reasons why she's very beautiful, is because it's in the second pada of Taurus. And as you already know, Taurus is a very beautiful sign. Taurus is known for having a beautiful face. They're known for having a beautiful voice. They're very Venusian. So, yeah, she has all these qualities as well. And it's so funny because I have seen, I don't really know her music, but I've seen her, on social media. She can't be ignored, right? And so what's interesting is that people were always talking about how good she looks in her fashion. and they're always saying I wish I had her confidence, because she does have a very regal, confident air about her, and that's so Leo, And the other day, I was having a game night with my friends, and I was winning. I was beating everyone's ass, but I was cheating the whole time. And my one friend knew I was cheating, and she was like, she saw me winning all the rounds, and she was like, I wish I had your confidence. So I think that confidence in themselves, it really is a Leo thing. So she's a Chitra ascendant. Chitra is a star in Virgo. So she's a Virgo ascendant, okay? And nowadays, the modern name for the star Chitra is Spica. And I'm sure you've heard of Spica. And it's actually the brightest star in the northern hemisphere. So, Chitra is when this affects a woman. Well, let's just say a person. When this affects a person, but honestly, let's say a woman. When this affects a woman, this makes her one of two things, or she can be both. This makes her either hyper nerdy, like so fucking nerdy that she has like social issues, and she can't even like she rubs people off the wrong way because her candor and her diplomacy is just not there. But I don't see that in her. Okay, so that's one way that Chitra affects people. And honestly, it affects the men mostly in that way. But when Chitra really affects a woman, this makes her incredibly beautiful. This gives her a very, very nice body. And even though Mercury rules Virgo, the particular star Chitra within Virgo is ruled by Mars. So because Chitra is her ascendant, Mars is ruling her ascendant. Mars is ruling her chart. So she's a Mars woman. And Mars women have very beautiful bodies. They're very confident with their bodies. They're very confident about how they look. They know they look good. But they're not like egotistical or mean people. It is Virgo after all. Virgo is the virgin. Virgo is the nurse, is the caretaker, is the teacher, is the waitress, is the mother. So, I mean, I know Cancer's mother, but Virgo is a mother too. Virgo is a very good mother. She's not as like mushy as the Cancer woman, but she's just as much a good mother. And in a lot of cases, I would say even better, because Virgo is very, very smart, methodical, and very organized. So anyway, these are all qualities that she can have in herself. The other thing I noticed that was very, very prominent for me was that her Rahu, which is North Node, was sitting in her first house. And there are so many famous people with Rahu in the first house. Recently, I've done the charts of Rihanna and... Who else's chart did I do recently? Oh, I can't think. But, was it Whitney? No, I don't think it was Whitney Houston. I can't remember who it was. But I've looked at so many celebrities' chart, and their Rahu is in the first house. Rahu in the first house people like really desire fame. They're very good looking. They're very creative. They're very good people. But there is an illusion to it, which for me makes sense, because first house is the body, ascendant is the body, and then Rahu, which is all about illusion. It's beautiful, but it's all about illusion. And that's what fame is. It's not real, but it is beautiful. And that's exactly, if you want fame, your first house your Rahu being in your first house is exactly what you want. The three biggest indicators I've ever seen for fame is Rahu in the first house, Rahu in the 10th house, and Moon in the 12th house. So those three placements I see over and over and over again with celebrities. And Dua Lipa is no different. She's got Rahu in the first house. So she also is a Gemini moon. So she's a Libra ascendant, and she is a Gemini moon. So this means that there's a lot of intelligence. That means that she could be, honestly, there's a lot of chitra and a lot of air here, air element. I really wonder if she could have been like an engineer, or she was really good at math, or she was really good at school, or something like that. Yeah. And the fact that she's Gemini moon, Gemini is an artist. Gemini is multi-talented. Gemini is really, really good with the hands. So these people are very, very talented with their hands, and they have really a wide array of talents and interests, because it's Gemini. Gemini is Mercury. Mercury goes fast and fast and fast, and Gemini is the masculine part of Mercury. So masculine people are go-getters. They get up, they're active, they don't sit and be lazy. So this woman is a very active person. She goes out a lot. She has a lot of interests. She probably has a lot of friends. She's probably very popular. She probably is very diplomatic. She's very, very intelligent. She's probably very good with her hands. She's probably very good at internet stuff like social media. She's probably good at, and honestly, I wonder if she has any interest or any knowledge at coding, because I see a lot of air with Mars, and when I see a lot of air mixed with Mars, people are really good engineers and coders and good at software people. But as far as musical talent, that's definitely her sun, which is in Leo, which is Makha. It's a lot of natural musical talent there. So the other thing about Gemini is that it's specifically the binary star system of Castor and Pollux. These are the two stars. One sits in one twin, and the other sits in the other twin. So these two stars is actually what give the constellation the visual of twins. So my brother has this very same moon placement, and I know quite a few other people who have this same moon placement. On one hand, they're very intelligent, and they're good at anything. Like they're good at so many things. But on the other hand, they have that Gemini angel devil complex. Like, I have seen it. And my brother, on his back, he's got a tattoo of an angel looking into a pond, and in the reflection of the pond is a devil. So, I've seen people say with this moon placement, they're like, sometimes I don't know if I'm the, devil's angel or God's child. They say that because sometimes they're just such good people. They're very sweet and kind and endearing, very vulnerable, very emotional, very loving, very giving, very open. And on the other hand, they can be very gangster. They have a very gangster side to them. They have a very cruel, when necessary, side to them. And the astrologer Claire Nocte also pointed out that this is very good for channeling, like for channeling spirits. So the fact that she has her sun in Makha, which is a very psychic star in Leo, and then she's got her moon in Gemini, Punarvasu, which is that binary star system known for channeling spirits, I actually do wonder if she has performed any seances, or if she's good at tarot cards, or if she's any type of esoteric, if she has any type of esoteric hobbies like that. Let me actually look at her chart. That's just from her three placements, her three major placements. So she's got Venus conjunct her sun. That makes her beautiful. She's got... Okay, so here's the other thing. I want to... Here's the other thing. Now, I'm just now seeing this. Her moon is in her 9th house. People who have their moon in their 9th house, they always become queen, or they become a professor, or they become king, or they become not just like the boss of an entity or of an establishment. They're like the official leader. Like, I know she's English. I really wonder if she's going to marry royalty or something like that, because Queen Elizabeth also has moon in the 9th house. I only see people in very, 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 very high status with heavy moon house, with heavy 9th house energy. And she's got her moon in the 9th house. So I really, really, really... And 9th house is ruled by Sagittarius. That deals a lot with, like, higher learning, higher thoughts, higher belief systems. So, like, you can associate church, colleges, academics, spirituality, all that stuff. Even, like, kings and queens, royalty. You can associate everything higher. You can associate all that with the ninth house. And she has her moon in the ninth house. So I wonder if she either has royal ties or if she's just going to marry someone who's royal or I don't know. Something like that. Y'all tell me. The other thing is I see her Mars is in the 12th house. I'm not going to lie, guys. Like, please take this with a grain of salt. Please. But women with Mars in the 12th house is not a good sign. This is where you get abusive boyfriends. This is where you have boyfriends who are violent, boyfriends who are drug addicts, alcoholics, boyfriends who go to jail, boyfriends who are in prison, boyfriends who are always in trouble, boyfriends who beat their girls, who are violent people. So I really hope I'm wrong about that, but that is what I see in Mars. The other thing about Mars in the 12th house is, honestly, there can be an abuse of substances naturally, because Mars is where you spend most of your actual energy. And 12th house, on one hand, this can make her very rich, because 12th house is all about desires. And so if her desires to be rich, be surrounded by luxury, and the fact that it's Mars, so she could just spend most of her actual physical energy trying to be rich. But on the downside, this could also mean that she spends most of her energy like doing drugs, being drunk, just living in a fantasy land. I'm not going to say either or because I don't know her, but on the higher side, it's really good for being rich. And on the lower side, it can mean really bad news for boyfriends, for lovers, and it can be really bad news for addiction. Okay, now the last thing I want to say is that her sun, Venus, and Mercury is in the 11th house in Leo. That is why she is so fucking famous. I noticed that I read somewhere that Dua Lipa is really famous, even though she actually has no top 10 hits. She has a lot of famous songs, but none of them were actually number one on the pop charts and stuff like that. So it's more so that her energy is popular and not exactly her songs. It's her vibe that really vibrates well with the communities of the world, with humanity in general, and that's very 11th house. And when you have a fully loaded 11th house, friends actually come very easy to you. People actually like you. You have no problems, with social settings, with friends. You will be popular, stuff like that. And the fact that it's Sun and Venus, Sun means she shines in this area of popularity of society. And Venus means that not only does she shine in this area, but she actually really likes it too. She probably really enjoys traveling, meeting people, meeting new faces, new cultures, stuff like that. She's probably a very cultured person in general. She could actually speak different languages. But it also really just means that, and 11th house is also the house of your hopes, wishes, dreams, and desires. So the fact that she's got a fully loaded 11th house means that she's on a current, soul mission to fulfill her hopes, dreams, and desires. All right, guys, I feel like that was enough. I think that was enough. 18 minutes? Damn. Yeah, that's enough. All right, guys, bye.